What is going on out there, peeps? All right, let's cover the Vietnam Dong here because I haven't covered that for a little while. But and I also want to get into something else here quickly. Well, not quickly. Give me a second. We're going to get into that. I want to discuss something about the Iraqi dinar as well as the Vietnam Dong. There's some things being brought up to my attention, so I want to go ahead and address those issues. Again, you guys know if you're thinking about buying precious metals, to give consideration to our friends over at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. First time buyers, if you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and get a free half ounce of silver. You guys know not to fall for this. If you don't see a gray around my name, then I did not post this. So don't go to any WhatsApps or anything like that, all right? Because they're scamming people for money. And it's happening on a lot of different people's YouTube channels. So just be very, very careful. You guys know I got Pimpy's Investment Chat, same name as the YouTube channel. Over here we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments, which brings me to what I want to address. You know, I think when I first heard about the Iraqi dinar, and of course the Vietnam Dong, when you first start doing your investigation into it, if anybody, most people won't even take the time to do any kind of real research. You know what I mean? But once I looked into it, there is a lot of negative comments talking about the Iraqi dinar. They were saying that the Iraqi dinar or the Vietnam Dong, these were scams. They're not real. They're not legit. They're scams. And so I did go in and read not one but two really big cases where a lot of fraud was committed regarding the two currencies I'm talking about. And then it dawned on me as I continued to read. You see, the currencies are real. They're not a scam. I can go into those countries and use those currencies. People use those currencies to commit fraud and to commit scams. That's the difference. Now, yes, people have been talking about an RV, an RI for years. So I can get the frustration. Now, I've been dealing with the currencies for a short period of time. There are people out there that have been waiting for like 15 years or longer. So I understand the frustration. But see, when everybody's talking about some, back screens and having codes to release the funds, or, God put it upon me to predict the date or whatever and the rate, those types of things, you know what I mean? Just not into that. So whether you call it an RV or an RI, whether it happens or not remains to be seen. The currency is real, both for Iraq and Vietnam. And they are undervalued. That's just a fact. So you don't have to wait for some fancy announcement of an RI or an RV. The truth is, if you pay attention to what's going on around those countries, you could see the potential for the growth in the currency, for it to become strengthened. If you're starting off near the bottom as a value, pretty much has nowhere to go but up, if you get my drift. We know that Iraq has been war-torn, corruption, wars, battles, fights, missile attacks, you name it. For some like 20 years. So that doesn't mean the currency will never, ever, ever, ever go up in value. That's false. It has gone up several times. Now, not like what people are projecting out there in the RV and RI, but they have gone up in increments. as the countries become stable and get secure, get back on their feet, and their economies start to grow, the value of their currency increases against other currencies depending on what's going on in those other countries. Well, we know the US dollar, even though it is the world reserve dollar, has been losing its value for several months now. So that's one of the things you're competing against, the value of your currency versus another country's, depending on what's going on. Now, again, Iraq is nothing like we are here in the United States. Our economy is being crushed. But for the most part, if the economy was open, we would all be working, the dollar would be much stronger, yada, yada, yada. But there are some tough times coming up. We've been printing out money like it's candy. The value of our dollar decreases every time we print money. It loses its purchasing power. I did videos more than once showing you what causes a currency to go up or down in value. So you see, everybody's out there talking about this magical RI or this magical RV. I've done it myself because I always do the, wow, okay, what if? But for me, I focus on something different than everybody else for the most part. I'm focusing on the things that affect the currency, the economies, the stability, the security, what's going on in that country. That has nothing to do with the RI or an RV. Has everything to do with how currencies go up and down in values. Just depends on what's going on in the country. Now, I'm well aware there are people out there saying, oh, on this date, the rate's going to change and you're going to get $50 bazillion. I get that. I understand there's a lot of people out there preaching that. I'm not saying that these people are the most trusted people, but they're out there, and a lot of people like to listen to what they have to say. I don't like the fact that they're blowing opium up people's butts and misleading them by lying, saying that in the country the rates already changed and they're exchanging. That's not true. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. To have a rate change in country and not everywhere else. Do you understand what type of black market you can get going on? You'd make a ton of money smuggling currency in and out over the border. So when a rate change happens, it happens everywhere. So what are we really talking about? The currencies themselves are not scams. They're legitimate currencies. We're talking about what it is that people are peddling out there. Again, talking about the back screens, their military intel tells them the 800 numbers, the redemption centers, the tier 1, the tier 2. I heard all the same crap that you guys have. And I've done videos on them saying, stop. Stop listening to that bull crap. Because those people discredit this whole situation. Everybody makes a comparison between what happened in Kuwait and Iraq. You can't make a comparison. I know they're similar in a lot of different ways. I've done videos comparing the two and making an argument that Iraq, the currency, would do the same thing as the Kuwait dollar. One day you'd wake up and the rate change would have happened. Now, this is before I really dug into a lot more data. Now, don't get me wrong. Anything's possible. You could wake up tomorrow. There could be a rate change. And there's plenty of people out there that got backgrounds, in economists who will go, I used to have one. He used to email me going, no, 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 let me tell you why. And we would kind of go back and forth. I enjoyed that because it allowed me to have open dialogue. And I learned a lot from those conversations. But now, as time goes on, I become wiser about what it is I'm looking for. I'm looking for signs that the country is going to be stable. The economy is growing. It's going to become stronger. There's less dependent on the government. Investors are willing to come in without feeling scared, feeling like their investments won't be attacked by protesters or terrorist groups. They feel good about coming into the country and doing business. As that happens, their currency increases in value. You see, you can't have it both ways. You can't go, oh, the country is so bad, that's why they keep devaluing their currency. Well, if the country's bad and it devalues, then common sense tells you that when things start to get better, the value of the currency increases. See, it goes both ways. Really, there's factors that play into this. And again, I've done videos about that. So the currencies themselves are not a scam. They're real currencies. But a lot of that crap out there that people are peddling is the scam. You just got to be careful about who you're listening to. Me, I deliver the news, good, bad, and ugly. Man, I've had people attack me because like, no, man, the QFS system or the Trump had the secret military, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, stop. There's no proof of this stuff, you guys. Get the receipts, get your proof. When I do videos, I leave links on the bottom so you guys can go see for yourself. I won't talk about things that I can't prove. At least that's one of my rules. I try not to. There will be times where something pops up and I don't have a link for it. Now look, if you don't like the investing in the dinar, investing into Vietnam, of course, that's your prerogative. But to sit around all day bashing people who feel passionate about this, it's just, you need to find a hobby. Seriously. Do something better with your time. There are some people out there that believe things will change for the better for both these currencies. And in the long run, they will have made money off the currency. Now, whether they've made double their money that they spent, whether they triple it, or whether they come out millionaires, I don't know. Nor do you. I get it. A lot of you guys are perturbed because you guys probably were initially investing in this. Heard all the same things that's being spouted out there now. And after so long, you just got pissed off. And so, you attack those individuals who believe in this investment. Now, I never was one of these people or believers that you would just magically overnight become filthy rich. I thought it's possible. But there are many, many factors that play into this. So the point being, look, if you don't believe in it, I understand. I've been frustrated myself. But I'm also this person that told you guys, when you guys invest in stuff like this, set a goal. Discipline yourself. Don't go overboard. People always get shocked when I tell them how much I have of these currencies because they expected I'd have so much more. I don't. I have 5 million dinar and 6 million Vietnam dong. That's it. See, I'm not trying to run around to become a billionaire if this happens. Because my thing is, it's not whether or not the currency is a scam, because it's not. What we're actually talking about is what is the probability that there be an RI or an RV. And if that's really low, what are other factors that can contribute to the increase in the value of these currencies? That's what I look for. So I get those people out there that are frustrated. I get there's some people out there whose loved ones were taking advantage. I believe it's called the Sterling Group. They robbed all kinds of people. Crazy. A lot of those people went to jail, is my understanding. They were telling people they had White House insider information, and trust me, I know there are people out there right now saying they work with Trump and they have White House information, just like the Sterling Group did, promising you dates and rates, just like the Sterling Group did. And when it doesn't happen, why you guys continue to stay faithful to those individuals, I have no clue whatsoever. Just be careful if they're trying to push, into a direction you don't feel comfortable with, like asking you to send your dinars to them because collectively as a group, you will get a better rate because they can negotiate a rate for you. Don't do that because then you lose your dinars. So just be careful of stuff like that. So, is a currency a scam? No, it's a freaking currency. Do people use the currencies to scam others? Yes, they do. Absolutely. Over here on my platform, I just read the news and share my opinion on what it is I'm looking for that help me feel one way or another about the direction the currency is going in. And most of you people joined in happily. There are some people in there who fuss. So speaking of, I haven't done the Vietnam Dong in a while, so just let me jump on that. I appreciate you guys allowing me the time to just kind of get that out. So look at, again, when it comes to the Vietnam Dong, here's the problem. We know it's undervalued. How do we know this? Because they've been on the currency manipulation list. How long? Oh, I think 4 times. 4 times they've been on there. And everybody, including me, was expecting something to happen with the currency, especially with the bad orange man in office. We thought for sure he would enforce it. And by the time he even started to get it rocking and rolling, getting this currency manipulation together, making sure there's penalties for those individuals who broke the rules, he was magically removed out of office for now. So until then, we go right back to the same people who caused all the problems and allowed this type of thing to happen because they're globalist. You see, they're invested in these companies, and I mean really, really invested in these companies to take advantage of the cheap labor. And do you think they're going to do anything to go over there and help these people? No. They benefit from the cheap labor. You got to have the right people in there, especially when it comes to our country. It's the last superpower for now. Vietnam expects to see export growth and rise in global demand. So again, this is good. I always look for articles when it comes to Vietnam. I tell people what I'm looking for. One is I try to get familiar with a lot of the big name companies because investing in their stock is something I'm very interested in. So from doing the news on them all the time, I've gotten kind of familiar with some of the big names. It's something I'm looking forward to. That's just myself. But Vietnam still has a lot of growth potential, although they've grown a lot over the last 30 years. But I'm thinking, they're at a point right now where they're going through the the World Trade Organization. They're becoming a member. BIS invited them to join them. They're being invited to the International Trade Commission. So these things only help Vietnam grow economically. As more and more people take advantage of the country, especially thanks to Trump's war with China, have forced a lot of companies to leave China and move over into Vietnam. This is great. It was a great boom for their economy. If you guys remember, when the Rona was out there in 2020, one of the countries that really didn't get hit hard was Vietnam. As a matter of fact, they had a pretty dang good year as far as their economy was concerned. Don't get me wrong, they were affected because they couldn't do anything trade, although they were fine. They couldn't trade with other countries because other countries were feeling the effect of the Rona. So, but they still managed to do fairly good. So what does this mean? Well, to me, if you get yourself positioned just right with some of these stocks, or when it comes to the currency itself, once this Rona crap is done and people can start going back out there, going back to work, doing what they need to do, Vietnam's going to blow up even more. The economy is going to become real strong. Now, they continue to manipulate their currency, and we'll talk about that here in a while. But the global demand for goods is recovering, and this is an opportunity for Vietnam to boost its exports of consumers and industrial products, according to the ministry. So, anyways, it goes on in this article, and this talks about a lot of the free trade agreements that are out there, a lot of these new trade agreements, and who they're dealing with in other countries. And so it looks, again, as a read through these are what I'm looking for. So it's not just an RI or an RV, because the probability of that happening is, if we're being honest, a little on the low side. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen. I'm just saying it's a little bit on the low side. So I tell myself, what other things can affect the currency? And that's what I look for, and that's what I share with you guys. So you can see all through here, farming, forestry, seafood products. I mean, they're exporting a lot of stuff. As a matter of fact, they're becoming one of the largest exporting nations in the world. Congrats to Vietnam on that. Again, when I hear this kind of stuff and I read these types of things, all I know is the more it grows, the stronger the currency. Vietnam's footwear exports to EU grows. So there you go. So they're already exporting footwear over into the EU, and now it's expanding. Thanks to preferential tariffs under the EU-Vietnam Free Trade Agreement, footwear exports to the bloc's 27 member countries increased by 19.2% year on year. So that's not bad. A 19% increase is huge. Again, this is what you're looking for. Overall exports, mainly aquatic products, textile garments, footwear, and farm produce were worth nearly 4.8 billion. That's US dollars. So Vietnam companies are all seeing increases, and we're still not fully opened up from the Rona. That's what I'm trying to say. These are the things I'm looking for. Getting in there and investing into these stocks. So see, it's not just the dong we're talking about. There's other things. If they're doing this good already now, can you imagine what's going to happen once the economies are open back up? So this is what I'm looking for. These are the things that I like. Venhomes, I spoke about them so many times, it's not even funny. Venhomes is definitely one of the people you want to invest in. They always are at the top of the stock list as far as companies that did phenomenal for the year. Venhomes wins a double award for Smart City Project at Asia Pacific Property Awards. Looks beautiful over there. But again, winning awards, their prestige, you know what I mean? They're part of the Venn group. Actually, the Venn group itself is what you buy the stock in, because I don't think there's Venn homes, there's Venn groups. So I've seen this so many times. Vina Milk, Venn homes, Venn groups. So when you read these articles over and over and you start to see the names of these companies, you start to get an idea who it is you should be investing in. Especially since the stock over there is really cheap. Think about it. If you think about what our exchange rate is, you could buy a ton of stock fairly cheap. But again, Venn Homes has been doing phenomenal. There's a lot of growth with this company. Lots of growth, which means home manufacturing, home sales, buildings, office space. As people start to move in there, as a matter of fact, they're building a whole new industrial complex to house other countries who come in and use it as a hub for importing and exporting. Again, something I look for that gives me an idea of what the currency could be doing long term. And here you can see budget revenues increase on robust banking, securities, real estate, and automobile sector. And it goes on here and it talks about the different types of groups and which companies are benefited from it. So I won't go too far in there. I was going to read these, but I got a little long-winded in the beginning. I don't want to bore you guys to death. But again, these are the things I'm looking for. These tell me everything. Now let's get back to the big news. So Vietnam denies subsidizing tires, rejects U.S. findings. What's this mean? Yes, recently again, because it's May, you guys. They do this report, what is it, 3 times a year? And May, once again, Vietnam is on the currency manipulation list. This would be big news if the right person was in the White House. But the wrong person's there, and he doesn't seem to be enforcing any types of tariffs, any types of penalties. They just get their name put on the report, and then they say, hey, we don't agree with it. Vietnam on Thursday denied the U.S. Commerce Department's findings that the country's cars and light truck tires are being unfairly subsidized due to the currency undervalued. So see, they're still manipulating the currency. What does that mean? They're holding down the value. It's actually lower than what it should be. So the currencies are not a scam. There's potential for them to go up in value. Now, are they going to jump up 10 cents or are they going to jump up $10,000? We don't know. But it's worth to me keeping them in my drawer and paying attention to what's going on just in case. How I told everybody right as soon as the election came around, that might be a good time for you guys to jump all over the Iranian rial. I knew once Biden got in office, we would start seeing sanctions being lifted, although some of them, but not all of them. But now we are importing oil from Iran. What the hell? So, and some of their frozen assets were unfrozen. So little by little, Iran is getting back on her feet. And all those tariffs and sanctions and embargoes and everything else that the bad orange man put on them is being removed. $1.5 billion sent to Hamas in Palestine, which some of it made its way over to Iran. So, little by little, I haven't seen no major jumps on it, but I'm anticipating it's going to go up in value. Now, it is illegal to own Iranian rial, or I should say to purchase them is what I found out. So just be careful. Another currency to keep an eye on, Venezuela, of course. So, again, there's other currencies out there to be watching. But as far as an RV or an RI, is it possible? Of course it is. We don't know what is going on, all the little ins and outs of these countries. There might be something we are unaware of that they, without a doubt, feel they can come out and just go, hey, we're going to change the rate right now of the Iraqi dinar 5-1. You'd be like, what the hell? You'd be happy. Of course you would. But is that realistic? No. If you think about how many of the dinars are out in circulation, too many corrupt people have it in their hands. I told you what they got to do with that currency is account for a lot of it. I think to be able to make some type of change to the rate once they can account for the vast majority of the currencies. We know central banks are holding a lot of them. I personally know one particular country, for some reason, keeps investing in them in a big way. Currently is still buying them. Why? I haven't quite figured out yet, but it is interesting that they are. Nonetheless, that's it for now, you guys. I just wanted to share this peace of mind with you guys. Or I should say a piece of my opinion, I should say, out there. Look, I get it. There are some videos some people like, some videos that other people don't like. That's fine. Just choose the ones you like, watch those, and disregard the rest. It's that simple. But seriously, if you run around making fun of and bashing people because of their belief in these currencies, You know, that's, you really need to find a hobby. I get that you don't like it. We get it. We can tell by your comments. But seriously, if you don't like it, that's up to you. Let the people that do like it enjoy the video and enjoy the news and feel like they have some faith in what's going to happen. Anyways, that's it for now. You guys hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. That's it for now. I'm out.